You might think that all smoke detectors are the same, but they are not. There are actually two different types of detectors, and what kind you have could mean the difference between life and death.
Tonight, part one of our special report, Smoke Screen. Kristen Carlson joins us with the results of her investigation. Kristen.
Well, like many people, I had never heard that there were two kinds of smoke detectors with different technology. To show us the difference, Barre City firefighters set up a test. They're passionate about telling people the difference in detectors after 5 people died in a fire. Deaths, they say, could have been prevented.
It's something that I think about it every day.
It was a tragedy that shook the Barre community. 2 years ago, just before Christmas, a family of 5 died in a fire. Kimberly Stoltz Foster and her 4 children.
It was devastating.
Grief and pain that gave way to questions. The family had working smoke detectors, but yet when firefighters entered the smoke-filled home, none were going off.
You know, a whole bunch of emotions. I mean, anger. I guess anger would be the biggest one because this is something that would have been so easily preventable.
After a career spent trying to save people, urging them to buy smoke detectors, Barre City firefighters wanted to know what went wrong.
We do not want to face another December 17th again. You can replace materials, you can replace a house, you can replace toys, but you can't replace those lives.
What they discovered surprised them. There are 2 types of smoke detectors that work differently. One is known as ionization, the other photoelectric.
So in an open flaming fire, the ionization detectors go off quicker. In a smoldering fire, the photoelectric detectors go off quicker.
It's something few people know about. Most homes, more than 90%, have ionization detectors. That's the kind the Stoltz Foster family had in their Barre home. To show Channel 3 how they work, Barre City firefighters put the detectors to the test.
There's actually 2 ionization detectors up here, so we're kind of stacking the odds in favor of the ionizations.
To see what detector will go off first, they install a photoelectric detector, a combination photoelectric and ionization detector, and also ionization detectors. They've placed sets in the room where the fire will be started and also in the next room.
We're going to be using this soldering iron right here.
Firefighters start a slow burning fire, similar to what happens during an electrical short circuit or if a cigarette is left burning. Smoldering fires often burn for hours while victims sleep, making them the leading cause of fire-related deaths in the country.
Definitely smells like smoke now.
And that's why there's so many fatalities at night versus day, because during the daytime when you're awake, you can smell the smoke, you can take care of the problem because you're alerted to it. At nighttime, the only way you have any chance of being alerted to it is those things right there.
Investigators say a candle or cigarette left burning likely caused that deadly fire in Barre.
I invite you to continue praying for them. Their loss is unspeakable.
At the family's funeral, hundreds mourned, but also taking it hard, Barre City Fire Chief Peter John.
All these people that perished were relatives of mine, so it had a double whammy effect on the department.
A personal tragedy that convinced these firefighters about the importance of having both types of detectors, but would the test convince us?
19 minutes exactly for the first one to go off.
19 minutes in, the first detector goes off.
The first one to go off was the photoelectric.
At this point, the room is beginning to fill with dangerous levels of carbon monoxide.
This showing about 19 parts per million. Right now, this is measuring carbon monoxide.
So at this point, we need to get our gear on.
Need to have something to breathe.
With breathing equipment, we wait, but not for long.
There you go.
At 23 minutes, the combination photoelectric and ionization detector sounds off. Then 2 minutes later, another alarm.
25 minutes, and that's the photoelectric in the room further away. But so far, no ionization has gone off.
Not a single one.
Their results firefighters are expecting because of how the detectors are designed to work. Ionization detectors use a current that is better at detecting fast flaming fires with smaller combustion particles. Photoelectric detectors use a beam of light, so when smoke hits it, the light is scattered, triggering the alarm faster.
And at this point, it'd be dangerous to be in here.
It would be. It would be very dangerous, especially if you're asleep, because you're not going to wake up.
Without the oxygen mask, the carbon monoxide in this room would poison us, making us disoriented, and after a long exposure, it would be deadly.
Combination photoionization.
The combination detector in the room further away goes off at 31 minutes.
Still no ionization.
Still no ionization have gone off. And in this room right here, we're looking at 80, 90 parts per million of carbon monoxide.
So about 35 minutes into the test, the smoke is very visible in this room, but still none of the ionization alarms have gone off.
We'd have to wait 42 minutes for the first ionization detector to go off.
I think it might surprise some people that in a room this smoky, it took 42 minutes for one to go off.
Exactly. It amazed us, you know, and this is why it's so important to us to get this message out.
Barre City firefighters recommend people buy combination photoelectric and ionization detectors, and they're not alone. The manufacturer of ionization detectors says for maximum protection, you really should have both technologies. They are available at most home improvement stores and cost about $10 or $15 more than ionization detectors. Again, 90% of homes have only ionization detectors. To see what kind you have, look at the back of the detector or the plastic plate that attaches to the wall. It will either say ionization or have an I, or there will be a P for photoelectric.
And Kristen, if photoelectric detectors have been around for years, why haven't more people heard about the difference in how they work?
Well, the governing board that writes National Fire Code is historically slow to make changes. Barre City firefighters, along with the fire department in Indiana, have both experienced tragedy and are both leading the charge for change. Tomorrow in part 2 of Smokescreen, we'll look into why it's taken so long for this message to spread.
All right, Kristen Carlson, thank you very much.
Good story. Police need your help locating 2 older men missing since yesterday. That's coming up.
If you are like 90% of homeowners, you have a smoke detector with ionization technology.
But firefighters say that photoelectric detectors go off much quicker in smoky fires, and fire codes do not require them. Kristen Carlson looked into why. She has part 2 of our special report called Smokescreen. Kristen.
Well, for decades, firefighters have told people to protect their homes, they must have a smoke detector. But few people knew there were 2 types. It's a problem more homeowners are learning about firsthand. Rudy Polly is lucky to be alive.
This was really serious.
Last week, Polly woke up in the middle of the night thinking a streetlight had disturbed his sleep, but then what he saw in his bedroom shocked him.
It looked like there was smoke there. I said, this doesn't look right. I got up, and the house was full of smoke. It did cross my mind, why isn't the smoke detector working?
Polly escaped and called the Barre City Fire Department. Turns out his furnace was malfunctioning, spewing dangerous smoke throughout the house. But he could not understand why his operating smoke detectors did not give him the warning he was counting on.
Boy, I thought I was protected, and I really wasn't.
And was this area smoky?
Oh, total smoke. Total smoke.
And that wasn't going off?
That wasn't going off.
It was puzzling to Polly, but not to Barre City firefighters. They learned firsthand about a difference in smoke detector technology 2 years ago when a mother and her 4 children died in a fire. The Stoltz Foster family, like Rudy Polly and 90% of homeowners, relied on an ionization detector. It's designed to go off quickly in fast-flaming fires, but tests have shown it does not respond as well to slow-burning smoky fires. Instead, a detector with photoelectric technology sounds the alarm faster in a smoldering fire.
I went home the day I heard about this, checked them, and went right out and bought some photoelectrics because you just can't play with your kids' lives and your family's life. And what we're going to do is just wait and see what happens.
Barre City firefighters conducted a detector test for Channel 3. They lit a smoldering fire, like one sparked by a lit cigarette or electrical problem, to see which alarm would sound off. Slow-burning fires are the deadliest kind of fire, often burning for hours while victims sleep.
The first one to go off was the photoelectric.
They've done this test half a dozen times with the same results. The photoelectric detector beats the ionization detector by at least 20 minutes. Precious time that could mean the difference between life and death.
You know, we can do it time and time and time and time and time again. They're not the same. They're different.
Despite the differences, fire codes do not require people to have photoelectric detectors.
The Barre tests were very convincing.
The Barre fire test prompted the State Division of Fire Safety to propose a change in the fire code. The Vermont legislature will review the photoelectric detector requirement next year.
Protection can be enhanced by putting a mixture of detectors in the spaces. And I suspect that in the future, the fire code may require that.
The National Fire Protection Association is also considering changing its code, but that could take years. The message about the difference in detectors has been slow to spread, in part because not everyone is convinced.
Certainly their work was very valuable, and it spurred our discussion and our thinking on the subject. But in order for the codes to be changed on a national level, there needs to be a bit more scientific research.
This is the one that the fire department installed.
Rudy Polly doesn't need scientific research. He now relies on a combination photoelectric ionization detector.
Do you feel safer knowing now this is here?
Yes, I do.
Barre City firefighters say in the past 2 years, they've responded to 6 other smoldering fires where the ionization detectors did not go off. So far, none have been deadly, but they worry it's only a matter of time. This issue is getting more attention. Just a week ago, the International Association of Fire Chiefs endorsed using combination photoelectric ionization detectors. And 2 of the Barre City firefighters very involved in this, Russell Ash and Matt Seaton, are now part of a new committee with the National Fire Protection Association looking into the detector issue. But both say any change in fire codes will take time. So for now, it's up to homeowners to decide how best to protect themselves.
All right. Kristen Carlson, thank you very much. Also, our thanks to photographer Bob Davis and our senior videotape editor, Nat Formulari, for their work on Smokescreen. For a link to more information about the difference in detectors, including how to tell which kind of detector you have, go to our info center at WCAX.com.